Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Bensalem Township Council meeting. Today's date is November 13th, 2023. I'll ask everyone to please rise for a moment, silent meditation or prayer, and we'll follow that with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Agenda item number 2 is the introduction of the council members and staff. I'd like to introduce you to those of us who are at the dais so you know who we are. And starting to my extreme left, we have Phil Worcester, our township engineer. Next to him, we have Debbie McBreen, our clerk for council. And to my extreme right, we have our solicitor, Joe Pizzo, and we have the Honorable Mayor Joseph DiGirolamo sitting next to him. Our council members in attendance this evening, we have Joe Knowles, Stacy Champion, Michelle Benitez, and I'm Ed Kisselback. With that, we'd like to go to agenda item number 3, which is a public comment, and that's unlimited to the agenda item. So anything on the agenda, if anyone would like to make comment on that, you certainly may. Of course, during the presentation, you can make comment in a public way, as well as at the end of the evening, there's also an agenda item for any item whatsoever. Not seeing anyone come forward, we'll move on to agenda item number 4, which is the approval of the council minutes. Now, before we go to that, it's my understanding that you want to speak this evening, Director McVeigh. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, so we're going to change the agenda so we can put Director McVeigh on the agenda. So if you can change the agenda at this time to make him part of, I'll say, 4B, right after the council minute approval or presentation.
4A.
4A. So I need a motion on the floor.
I'll make the motion.
We have a motion on the floor. Second on the motion. All those in favor signify with an aye.
Aye.
Any against? Any abstentions? Okay, so you'll be at 4A. We have the council minutes from October 24th. I'm going to ask for everyone if they have read them for an approval or change or a presentation as to what you would like to do at this time. So I'll ask for a motion for the council minutes.
I'll make a motion that we accept the minutes as presented.
All right, so we have a motion on the floor.
I'll second the motion.
We have a motion, second. Those in favor signify with an aye. Aye. And against, abstentions, as unanimous, 4-0. And then we'll go to 4B. We have a presentation by the Director of Public Safety, William McVeigh. Yes, please.
Good evening, Council President, Council, Mayor, and all those in attendance. Thank you for putting this on the agenda tonight for me with short notice, but since our last meeting on October 24th, when I presented to you information regarding a SAFER grant application, I felt that I needed to come back here to clarify the record because there was many inaccurate statements that were made that could have deteriorated public trust, unfortunately. So I think it needs to be stated from me as the Director of Public Safety, after doing research that I promised that night, to get back to Council and provide you with factual information. In response to me informing Council that we were seeking 4 additional firefighters through a SAFER grant, which is federally funded, Councilman Polari stated that we would have to hire 65 additional firefighters, and we would be mandated to do so by the NFPA and the federal government. He also cautioned that taxpayers needed to be aware of this because of the costs associated. This information is not factual at all. The NFPA, the National Fire Protection Association, is a nonprofit organization that develops fire, electrical, and other life safety standards. The NFPA is not a governing body. They have no power, nor do they try to enforce any of their standards if you're not in compliance. Under NFPA Standard 1720, the authority having jurisdiction has the responsibility to determine 3 factors. 1, the scope and level of service provided by the fire department. 2, the necessary level of funding. And 3, the necessary level of personnel, resources, including facilities. Bottom line, Bensalem Township, through the Department of Public Safety, has the responsibility of fire suppression services at the appropriate staffing levels. Councilman Polari also made several accusations that Bensalem Fire Rescue, our career staff, was created without the approval of our council and done so illegally. The accusation that the mayor and his administration acted illegally is completely irresponsible and I believe should be retracted immediately. The creation of Bensalem Fire Rescue under the Department of Public Safety was done so in accordance with the Bensalem Township Municipal Code, specifically Section 2.85. That states, and I'll read, "The Department of Public Safety shall be responsible for police protection, fire protection other than fire inspections and fire code enforcement, rescue services, and defense within the township. As such, the mission and function of Bensalem Fire Rescue fall under the control of the Department of Public Safety." I would also like to commend Mayor Joe DiGirolamo, his administration, and all the members of council for what they did 13 years ago to enhance our fire response in this township for daytime hours by creating the Department of Fire Rescue, because they are operating at times that our volunteer services struggle to get fire trucks out. Back then, public safety was put first by this township and this administration and council. I don't want to see any of that change. Over 13 years, we've seen great success from our fire rescue department, fire rescue service. They've proven this time and time again. They've saved lives and they save property by their quick, professional, and efficient response. It should also be noted, once again, the council has approved funding for Bensalem Fire Rescue for the 13 years since it was created. As for our current fire consolidation efforts, which were also questioned that evening, the mayor, his administration, and the Department of Public Safety are fully committed to seeing this project through. This is being done not to eliminate our volunteer service, but it's being done to sustain it for the future so that we are not strapped with a fully funded fire department. This is something that needs to be done, that I have identified, experts have identified, and the leadership from 6 of the volunteer companies have also identified. This is being done despite efforts to sabotage it, people trying to shut it down. I am telling you here tonight, I stand, the deputy director is here, with many of the people who are on the committee with us. We are doing it not only for the right reason, but it is being done because it's the only way we can sustain that our residents get the appropriate level of fire response they deserve to keep them safe. Everything we have done the past 18 to 24 months involving consolidation has been done inclusive with all 6 companies. Myself or the deputy have been at every single meeting we've had, and I can say we've made great progress, and we will continue that progress together with all 6 companies. It's my hope that all 6 companies vote that way to show that we are doing the right thing, and we will build something great for Bensalem Township. That is all my comments for this evening, Council President.
Okay, are there any comments from our council members at this time?
I'd like to thank you for coming and setting the record straight and for the representation that you guys have tonight. We do appreciate that. It means something to us. We're glad that you're here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Bill, for the job you continue to do to keep our community safe. And we got your letter. We all got your letter earlier, so I read that letter thoroughly, and I understood before tonight and now that we are not obligated to have 65 firemen. So that's not a correct statement. I understand that, and I knew that before it was correct. I had full knowledge that we were establishing a full-time fire company. I mean, they have a 222 truck. I figured they were putting out fires, you know what I mean? So, but I was aware of it. It was in the budget every year, so I really don't, that's all, I appreciate your clearing things up for us. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman.
And I also want to thank everybody who's come out tonight. We do support you. We support the efforts. We all know that in the end, we'll get to the right answer. And we all know that it's always a work in progress, and we appreciate everything everybody is doing.
Thank you,
And
Councilman.
putting public safety first.
And I'll add, the priority of this council and the mayor has always been public safety. And it's something I've always said from the very beginning. The mayor's always said it, and I can speak for our council members, all of our council members, that public safety has always been #1 priority. At this time, we're at the transitional state, where we have to look as where we are and where we want to be in the future. We're not creating the new wheel. It's something that's been done in other counties and other townships, not only in Pennsylvania, but in other states, in terms of analyzing the importance of the volunteer firefighters, as well as what we can do to add to the safety throughout the day with a paid company or a fire rescue company that can provide that service to our residents of Bensalem. So we're at that stage, so we really don't have the answers as of yet, but we're investigating it. I know you've been in charge of that, and bringing the, I believe, all the 6 fire companies, the volunteer fire companies, bringing them together and analyzing the information. And we believe at the end, by 2024, we will be on our road to continuing the service for our 65,000 residents in Bensalem, as they deserve as a resident of Bensalem. So we thank you. And if you're finished, I'm going to ask at this time, is there anyone, as we had said earlier, would anyone like to make a public comment on what the director had just presented? And we need your name and your address.
My name is Don Harris. I live at 3710 Berkeley Road in Bensalem. I've been in the fire service for 57 years in this community. I've been in both career as well as volunteer. One of the things that I would like to echo is some of the sentiments of our director with regard to the NFPA. The NFPA is a consensus standard, meaning that it's a group of everybody that's involved in this. It's not NFPA members turning around and making a standard saying you will follow this. So that's just one thing I wanted to clear up. They also do have codes and standards, so you can adopt an NFPA code. For instance, NFPA 5000 is the building code. NFPA 1 is the fire prevention code. They have NFPA 101, which is a life safety code. So those codes can be adopted, and a lot of municipalities will adopt them. I've been involved, like I said, on the career end over 35 years. I've been doing a lot with regard to, I've been a chief of the department in Newtown. We started the department there in '96. We were the first in the county to start a career staff. I was a fire marshal. I was a fire marshal in like 3 municipalities. I'm currently in Middletown right now. So, and we have gone through the same thing in Middletown with regard to career staff. Career staff is needed. Like I said, we addressed it in '96 in Newtown. And as it stands right now, the whole volunteer system is pretty much collapsing. As much as we don't want to see it, and we don't want to say it from myself as well. I've been in the volunteer system, like I said, 57 years. But you have to accept change. And the change being that we're not here for my ego, for my self-satisfaction. We are here to service the public. And that's what everybody has to understand. We're here to service the public, and that's the important factor. On the other hand, we start talking about consolidation. Now, as independent companies, we are not producing manpower that's conducive to putting apparatus on the street. That's just the way it is. That's the way it is now. Lifestyles have changed. If you look at lifestyles back in when the volunteer system was really thriving, you were looking probably the 50s, the 60s, and the 70s. That's when you really saw a lot of people, because firehouses were the nucleus of that department, or the community, rather. And everybody gathered there based upon events that were occurring and things like that. So you had a lot of people. The other part of that equation, the requirements weren't that much. In today's society, it's crazy. To be a firefighter today, you have to spend over 200 hours to get trained before you can even respond to a call. And a lot of times with these training requirements, it's not a one-time deal. It's an ongoing process. Plus, your individual departments will have issues with regard to things that you have to maintain there as well. It's a lot of time commitment. You have people, two people working in a household, one person working 2 jobs. It's very, very difficult. The younger generation of today just aren't there like it was years ago, and that's the problem. So this consolidation issue that we're dealing with right now is really, it has to be on the forefront of everybody's mind. I'm not saying that, I'm happy about it, but on the other hand, it's reality. And we have to look at it and we have to say, this is the way it has to go. It has to go this way. Because if it doesn't, you're going to be putting out a lot of money, I can tell you that right now. And when that happens, it's not going to happen just like gradual. It's going to hit you. Because if we can't get trucks on the street properly manned with qualified people, then that becomes the problem. Number one, you don't want to have a career staff on the street with an apparatus waiting 15 minutes for another piece of apparatus to show up with qualified people. And that's what's starting to happen now. And that's problematic in and of itself because that jeopardizes their safety. It jeopardizes the safety of each and every one of you that live in Bensalem. So that is really, really one of the things that we really have to focus on. We have to look, we have to turn around and say, okay, we got to maintain this system. We may have to beef it up. Whether it's through your SAFER grant or not. If you look at the overall tax, I'm not sure what each household taxes are, but township tax is this in comparison to the overall scheme of things. So even if you had to fork out another $50, $100, it's not that much, so it's just things like that we have to look at. In looking at the staffing level, in accordance with NFPA 1710 standards that are out there, the 1710 standard is typically the one for career staff. They say for a medium hazard occupancy, which would be an apartment building, you're looking at 25 people have to be assembled in order to effectively deal with that situation. Now, when we say assembled, we mean career and volunteer. So if we have two career engines, that's potentially 8 to 10 people. Okay, so that means you have to come up with another 5 from your volunteers. So that's just what you're looking at as far as the staffing levels. So, that's pretty much what I wanted to cover. And I just think that it goes back to the NFPA requirements and standards and things like that, that they don't have the authority to come in and tell you how to run your system, your department, or anything like that. That is between administration and your public safety division. All right, that's where that comes from. So, any questions?
No, I'd like to just thank you for taking the time to be with us tonight. You came
Sure.
from Middletown, and I know that you guys have done a lot of work there. Frank Farry has been a big part of a lot of
Right.
the work there. So thanks for taking the time
Okay.
to educate us, one, and you have me understanding consolidation in a different way. It's more like an optimization
Yeah.
than a consolidation. Consolidation, I think, is a term that we're using that makes it feel like we're getting rid of things, and we're really not. We're really just trying to optimize what we have in place
Right.
to make sure that we can sustain what we need to sustain and have the resources we need for our community.
Exactly.
So really, I appreciate you being here.
Yes, go back to what you just said. We're not getting rid of any department. Every department will keep their identity. You're under an umbrella, is basically what it comes down to. The consolidation is this umbrella over all 6 departments. They're there. History is there. Everything is there. But you have this one organization that's going to oversee everything, and we're united into one now. And that's what it comes down to. It's the united front is what we're looking at and what we have to maintain. Okay. Thank you.
Don, I just wanted to point out that we're going to go down that road with the consolidation. We've been spending hours and hours and hours talking about it and learning about it through everybody. But the important thing is also that the daytime, like you said, the situation has changed in the 50s, 60s, and 70s.
Right.
And back in the day, they used to let employees go to fires during the day.
Absolutely.
So my grandfather was on the first motorized truck in Cornwalls, and the pharmacist would go on the fire, and the postmaster would go on the fire, and they would just let you go.
Right.
And now, people have responsibilities, and the cost to their families to stay on the job and make money mostly during the day. And that's why we're short during the day.
Exactly.
And that's why the full-time people that we do have, the minimum amount that we do have, are necessary to supplement the whole system, or it just wouldn't work.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I remember I was a kid, or I was in high school. I would get called out of school for a fire
Yeah.
back then. It was stuff like that. It's not going to happen today. I mean, society has changed totally, so, that presents an issue too, pulling kids out of school and juniors, being a junior. Back in the day, we fought fire. We're a junior today, they're not fighting any fire because of child labor laws and all the other things that go along with it, so,
Okay, thank you.
okay?
Okay, would anyone like to come forward besides Mr. Harris? Yeah, you can. If you want to form a line, you can do that.
Good evening, Council President, Mayor, council members.
And your name and address, sir?
Thomas Prochek,
Thomas?
ex-resident of Merganser Way. I am currently the Vice President of Local 4837 of the Bensalem Township Career Firefighters, the International Association Firefighters Union. At last month's council meeting, there was a discussion for a vote and over the FEMA SAFA grant for 4 additional firefighters to be added to our career department. If we are awarded this grant, we truly would appreciate all the support you have given us in the past and more in the future. And we truly thank you for all that support that you are giving us. But there's a few things we'd like to clear up over that conversation you had last month. We drafted a letter to Councilman Polari, myself and Robert Sponheimer. I would like to read that letter to you this evening in reference to some of the miscommunications that he had between Director McVeigh. Council Vice President Joseph Polari, in response to your comments made during the council meeting on October 24th, 2023, the members of the Bensalem Township Career Firefighters Association, IFF Local 4837, find it very disheartening and irresponsible that a member of council would provide false information to the public in which you serve. Our union is not affiliated nor represented in any which way by the Philadelphia Firefighters and Paramedic Union, IFF Local 22. Your comment, their contract is done by Philadelphia, is 100% false. In addition, your references to the NFPA were completely baseless. According to the NFPA documents, the NFPA has no power, nor does it undertake, to police or enforce compliance with the contents of the NFPA. Any certification or other statement of compliance with the requirements of this document shall now attribute to the NFPA and is the solely responsibility of the certifier or the maker of the statement. We are unsure why you would make such unrealistic claims, such as the township will be required to hire 65 firefighters to be compliant with the NFPA. Your comments are unprofessional demeanor, appear to show you bias against the career firefighters in Bensalem Township and public safety as a whole. In closing, we request you retract your statement publicly regarding the NFPA standards and the Bensalem Township Career Firefighters Association, IFF Local 4837, so the public has no misrepresentation of the career firefighters of Bensalem Township or the township itself. Furthermore, we would appreciate your public support of the department's request to apply for the SAFER grant. Respectfully submitted, Robert T. Sponheimer, President, Thomas G. Prochek, Vice President of the Bensalem Career Firefighters, Local 4837. As you know, Council, the possibility of applying for this application is placing the delaying of the application of this grant is putting the township at a big disadvantage. When it comes to hiring the best, we are looking for certified firefighters. We're competing against our neighbors, Bristol, Northampton, Newtown, Middletown, and the city of Philadelphia. This process will only become harder in the future if we delay it. Other townships and the city of Philadelphia will be offering competitive pay, competitive benefits, and defined pensions. Safe staffing is the most critical element of a firefighting force. We cannot delay the inevitable. The eroding of the volunteer fire service is standing before you today. This dilemma was started years before you created the Bensalem Career Firefighters. Today, we are looking at the brink of a collapse of the volunteer fire service. Our members are concerned, our union members that is, are concerned who will back them up. Today, if a police officer calls for officer assistance, a large contingent of police will show up. If a firefighter calls a mayday, which is the equivalent to a police officer's call for assistance. We're not sure what resources will be there or what is coming and how long it will take. We took an oath as a career firefighters in this township to protect the lives of the residents and any passerbys. We ask in return for all your support, unwavering and any other sort, for your career firefighters and your volunteer firemen as well. We need to move forward in providing all the tools that is needed to do our job safely and efficiently, both career and volunteer. And in closing, I'd like to say, I want to read a little phrase from Chief Croker, a past FDNY chief from 1910. I have no ambition in this world but one, and that is to be a fireman. This position, in the eyes of some, may appear to be a lowly one, but we know the work which firemen have to do and believe is a noble calling. There is an adage which we say, nothing can be destroyed except by fire. We strive to preserve from destruction the wealth of the world, which is the product of industry of men and necessary for the comfort for the rich and the poor. We are defenders from fires of the art, which has beautified the world. The product of genius of men and the means of refinement of mankind. But above all, our proudest endeavor is to save lives. Under the impulse of such thoughts, the nobility of occupation thrills us and stimulates us to deeds of daring, and even at the supreme sacrifice which we may make. Such considerations may not strike the average mind, but they are sufficient to fill the limit of ambition in life and make us serve general purpose of human society. Thank you. Again, from the Township firefighters, we truly appreciate your support, and we will continue to work with you as well if you need any information. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, Ed,
Anyone
the
else
only thing I wanted to add was, Ed, if I could just
Sure.
goes back. The only thing I wanted to add is that there was not a delay in applying for the Safer Grant because I made a motion to approve it and Ms. Champion seconded it and we voted that night to do that. So it would not have been good, I don't think in my estimation, to delay it, but it was not delayed.
Good evening. My name's Tom Marker, 896 Jason Drive. Compared to Chief Harris, I'm a rookie. I only have 37 years in the fire service here in Bensalem. I think it's really important to understand there is one side here that needs to be represented. And that one side is the homeowner that's going to call at 2 o'clock in the morning and hope that fire trucks show up. That is that one side. I was in Director McVeigh's office not that long ago. And I said honestly to him, I'm tired. I don't want to do this anymore. I said, I'm very proud of the time that I've had here. I joined the fire service 6 months after I got out of the Army because I was looking for the fraternity that I knew. And I found it. I don't always agree. I've probably had shouting arguments with some of the people in this room. But the passion that drove me isn't there anymore. If I were a police officer and I had 37 years and I went into the director's office and I said, I'm done, they would be planning an event. They would be framing my badge, they'd be buying my sidearm, and yet I'm looked at as, well, why are you leaving? I don't want to leave. I'm just tired. I'm 59 years old. Should I be who the township depends upon to crawl down a center hallway of an apartment building? I don't think so. I think that our residents deserve better. So, as I started, I'm the president of Eddington Fire Company. I'm also the assistant chief. I'm also the president of the Relief Association. So you ask yourself, why consolidate? Well, when I came into the fire service, those 3 positions would be held by 3 different people. We don't have them anymore. So with consolidation, a lot of the jobs that we have would be unified under one umbrella. We would maximize the greatest resource that our taxpayers have, which is the volunteer firefighter. Now, when a building catches fire, they don't ask to see a pay stub at the front door. When a homeowner wants you to be there to rescue their child, they don't want to know, are you a union member? What they want to know, are you competent? Are you physically able to do the job? And that is the responsibility that this council has. That is the responsibility that Director McVeigh has. And that is the very acute responsibility that all of us that have been doing this for decades feel every night. I had a board meeting this morning. I could not go to calls last night. My pager went off 3 times. I didn't get much sleep because all 3 times that pager went off, I was like, are we going to get out? Do we have people in the station? Who's around? I've been having that responsibility for 37 years. We need to start making a concrete plan moving forward. Our plan that we're working on, is it perfect? No, it's not perfect. Do I have some problems with it? Yeah, but we're working through it. I've been involved with this fire service, as I said, for 37 years. We are getting along better as a township than we ever have. There is a spirit of cooperation that I've never seen before. And the reason for this is the situation has driven home what is most important. And what is most important are the citizens of Bensalem. Thank you very much.
My name is John Ejak. I own a business in 2655 Interplex Drive in orthotics and prosthetics business. I've known many of you over the years for coming to the banquets at Nottingham and also at events. I'm an assistant chief at Nottingham Fire Department. I've been a volunteer firefighter in Bensalem for 38 years and worked under both of the Harrises that are present here and been at chief's capacity since 1992. Like Tom, seen a lot of good firefighters come through town and serve in the ranks. We used to have a lot more people on our trucks, and our numbers are dwindling and they're less. I'm here for a spirited conversation because I got a chance to listen to council meeting. I wasn't in attendance, but the council meeting question. Let me first say, almost to the date, I just looked this up, November 13th, 2013, there was a tanker truck that was on fire, 9:43 in the morning on Route 1. And the quick response of your fire service, your Bensalem Fire Rescue, which some of the members that are here were part of starting that up, kept that fire in check. And the saddle tank leaked and burned, but the big tanker didn't blow up, which could have really been a catastrophe in that area in the Nottingham section. I came and visited this council meeting. I tried to look for the records what that date was, but in 2013, that month, I came here and gave thanks to you guys and your committee and your council here as a volunteer chief. At a time when we couldn't respond, they responded and they were quick with their work. I'm confused because Councilman Polari and some of you that were also here listening to the statements that were being made that day, everybody's entitled to their opinion. But I'm spirited to say that it was just such false and reckless comments. I am a volunteer fire chief. These guys are getting up here and talking from a career standpoint. We have young people that are hearing this from the leadership here. That needs to be redacted, taken down, should not even have been entertained here. I know you're not versed in the NFPA rules that were standing, but that was so false and so reckless. We could have a talk. We have many talks. I've met with many councilmen at the training center. We have a state-of-the-art training center. There's many places that could have happened. That was just so reckless. These young members are here, have to hear that and disseminate. Well, are they for us or against us? That's ridiculous. Let me break down a different number. The paid career service here, if you look at the timing and how much their staff, 33.6, right? We'll say 1/3 of your week is covered by career service. The rest is us volunteers that are left. And guys, I've said this before, I've said it at the county level, representing Nottingham. This is a fast fire in terms of the lack of members. This is far beyond even our consolidation. We should have been doing this a long time ago, okay? Anybody that stands up here and differs from me is false pride. I carry our numbers. I love it. I love representing the Nottingham section. And I will agree with Tom, we're more spirited, we're training together. Now, like we have no other choice. You have a Cornwell's Fire Company here. Look how many members in the back. Most of them are Cornwell's members. Right now, that department is striving, doing very well with young members and retaining them, okay? But our numbers are few. You want to look at the statistics? I'm sure we have them here. You should be a little bit bolder and look at the statistics. 2, 3 people on a truck? They're not coming to save you. We can't save you with that kind of group, with that kind of numbers. So far beyond what a SAFER grant's going to bring for a couple people, this needs to be a 5-10-year plan. I'm here to tell you, in the spirit of conversation, this is far beyond what you're discussing right now. We are in dire straits. The fire service is in dire straits. This is not just a Bensalem problem. And these guys now have to compete, like Mr. Prochek said, compete against other municipalities. They're not there. Look at the rescue squads suffering now with finding EMTs and paramedics. We'd be fortunate to retain some of these young people to encourage them. I will tell you this, and one thing that's really interesting, including the members of your Bensalem Fire Rescue, there's a lot that still retain their volunteer capacity and still help out after they've been doing it all day long, or in the city or other places. They have not forgotten where they come from. So I'm just disturbed that got to that level of conversation. Maybe misunderstanding, maybe false information is fed to the gentleman. He's not here. I wanted to address that. But I also charge you is to be able to hear that. It's not just a matter of discussion. This is a greater problem, okay? And I'm concerned for our crews. We have people stuck elevators in hotels. What firemen are coming at night? We want to bring the businesses and keep the business successful. You have to start thinking about plans to bring more people here that are guaranteed getting out. Thank you for your time. I'm sorry I didn't address you professionally in the beginning. It's an honor to be here and represent Bensalem too. We love our town, even members that aren't here. But we love every part of the service here and the leadership, and I thank you for the leadership. You guys as a governing body have okayed the administration to do what they have had done to this day. You have to keep doing it, but I'm telling you, there's a far greater concern, and these two gentlemen are working on that plan. The consolidation, I'll leave this one last comment. Nottingham turned 65 this year. We're 65 years old. We're the baby. Nottingham's the baby fire company. Originated, came from Eddington, okay? It was an offshoot. Some of these other fire companies are over 100 years old. Trevos is celebrating their big birthday, okay? We have pride. We remember all those things. But can you imagine, as you sit here and represent different parts of Bensalem, okay? We also have different parts. That's 100 years, 60 years of administrating and running a place that we think we're doing just fine. And now we're consolidating that, okay? So talk about indifferences. We just have different ways that we're running things. But if you go to the core, to the young guys going in the street and going to fight fires, there's none of that. There's none of that. So to hear no false statements about this. These are the people that are going into burning buildings. And we want to be there while they transition. But right now, we're 60% of the time. These guys are only 33.6% of the time. They go home at 5 o'clock. It starts on weekends and holidays. We all have to do that. And it's a lot of guilt, like Tom says. It gets a little bit tiring. There's a lot of senior members here. We're tired. It's a lot of guilt. Everybody goes home. Volunteer firemen don't go home. They have to think about it all the time. So thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you. Does anyone like to come forward and comment on this issue at this time?
Mr. President, I would like to,
Certainly.
certainly the accusations was made about me and my administration is inexcusable. Inexcusable. We have done everything the right way. We have done everything according to law. We have done everything for the safety of Bensalem Township. and every one of you. I thank every one of you out there for what you have done and what you continue to do, and will do it. No matter how things work out, it's all about you. It's all about the safety. That's number one thing we have to do here is present the safety. I will not stand for this type of thing going on professionally in a township like this. We're here, I talk about teams all the time, working together, and that's the only way we can get things done. So, again, Mr. President and Council, it was inexcusable for those accusations that were made, and believe me, I acted very professional that night, very professional. I have never had anybody talk to me like that, never. And that it's just the bottom line is we've got to work together. I hope the gentleman comes around, and I hope that he will identify his mistakes and say he did it, because that's his salvation. Because I'm not going to stand for it. I don't know how many of you know this, but I'm a farm boy from Bensalem, and I have only given up my life for Bensalem 30 years. I've been here. And it's not going to, it just cannot continue to happen like this. We have to talk things out when something's differences, and that's what the consolidation is doing. I don't go to any meetings. I don't know what they're doing. They're working together to try to make it better for this town. And for anybody to accuse me and my administration, inexcusable. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Council members, would you like to make any comments at this time?
I would.
Please go.
Thanks. So I just want to say thank you to all you guys. I don't think many of you know this, but about 10 years ago, we had a slight incident in my house. And that evening, I live in Glen Ashton. I live on the end of Ashton Road, which has no lights, and the houses go out of order a bit. And my husband was here for a zoning board meeting, and I had come home from gymnastics with my 2 young children. And we had a electrical fan box catch on fire. I called 911, and Cornwallis was first on the scene. So I want to say thank you. But I'm going to thank all of you guys who came out. Thank God my house did not burn down. I got yelled at a little bit later because I pulled the plug out of the wall before it actually blew up. But when the fire chief plugged it back in, it did a fireball. And so my son, who was 3 at the time, was very upset. He thought all of his toys were going to burn down. So between that and the fact my grandparents' house burned down on Maple Avenue in 1939, I understand the importance of you guys and how important you are to the township. And whatever we can do, and I'm getting a little emotional here, whatever we can do to support all of our residents and you guys to be sure that this plan goes through for all of us, because all of you guys live here too, and you guys want a fireman coming out, and we all want fire, women, men, everybody to come out and save each other. And so thank you. So sorry, I'm a little long-winded
That's
there.
fine, okay. Anyone else like to make a comment?
I'll just make a comment. Appreciate your support, and I appreciate you coming out. And like the gentleman said, I really, not that, I didn't know a lot about NFPA rules and regulations, and I think our director, Bill McVeigh, is quite capable of handling himself, so I didn't think I needed to rescue him. But the thing is, I do know that we continue to learn about this, and we continue to study along with you guys, okay? So, and I'm a lifelong resident of the township. My family's been here 115 years, okay? So my grandfather started a couple fire companies. So, and my brother John, that buzzer would go off in the middle of the night, woke me up all the time, But the thing is, we've continued to study. We get the minutes from the meetings. We meet with Bill. We have executive sessions. I get phone calls there's a lot of emotion involved, like you said. Different people have a lot of pride in their different situations and where they've been all life. So I'm getting a lot of phone calls. I spend a long time sometimes putting down rumors, checking with Bill, checking with people, getting back to them, making sure this is correct. That's not correct. That was said. That wasn't said. This wasn't said. That's not correct. We'll do this. We'll do that. So we're spending hours and hours on the phone with residents and other volunteer fire people, putting fires out, rumor fires, okay? So we're working along the process, and we're going to spend much of the beginning of next year, working this out as professionals. But I appreciate your support. Thank you.
Michelle?
Yes, thank you. I think Director McVeigh and I had this conversation briefly. You guys are the professionals. I trust you. You have the answers, and you're educating us here. I'm excited to work on the plan with you and offer whatever support that I can, and I thank you for stepping up and keeping our community safe every day. We really do appreciate you, and I'm very glad that you guys are all here. It really just shows how everybody can come together and make this work. It's really important to us. And that's really all I think I have.
Okay. And I'd like to finalize the comments from the council by saying we always have and will continue to appreciate what our volunteer firefighters do for us. I mean, several people have mentioned this, and we don't take it lightly when we say, we know you go out at 2 in the morning when you get that call and your family's behind. Think about your family as important as thinking about you. I mean, what they're thinking about, are you going to come back? And you're here because you want to be, because you love the township. And now we're at the time, at the stage of the growth of our township, and just in general, in 2023, is that you just can't be there during the day on many occasions, because it's not like when we're talking about 1950, I'm talking about 1850, when the community worked in the same area. You were the butcher, the baker, and the candlestick maker. You were right there, and so they called you, you can come out. Now, you work in a different township, a different county, a different state, and so if you get a call during the day, you just can't be there. And that's what we're addressing here on the council and the mayor, looking at the reality of where we are, and I think we'll come to some kind of conclusion, because your decision is going to be made on your love from Bensalem. And we know it's going to be the right decision, and we will cooperate in any way we can to make it happen. So God bless all of you and your families and what you've done for us and will continue to do for us in Bensalem. And I'll conclude on that end of it. Okay, we're going to move on to agenda item, but before we do that, it becomes boring from this time on, so if you gentlemen and ladies would like to exit the stage, you're certainly welcome to. Thank you for coming out, gentlemen. Thanks, man.
Thank you.
Thanks, man.
Now I think I need to watch. I have no idea.
Okay, and we're all set. We're going to move along. We're on to agenda item number 5. What? Oh. Consideration of a rezoning. This applicant is Luber 74 LLC, 2025 State Road. The classification is GC and R2. It's a combined combination, general, commercial, and residential. And the applicant would like to move this to a new zoning of R2 residential only. The tax map parcel is 02064-058, and we have someone representing your client, and he is?
Good evening, Mike McGinnis from Begley
Mike
Carlin.
McGinnis.
Here on behalf of Luber 74 LLC. I'm going to do my best to be, I think, pretty brief with actually both of the applications tonight. I have a aerial from the Bucks County parcel viewer, which I put on the screen, and I'm going to show right now with the mouse, so I don't have a highlighter, the area that we're here to discuss. You can see the property address is 2025 State Road. This is Cambria Avenue, and this is Herringbone, and my client, Luber 74, owns 2-64-58, which is the area that I was just pointing out to council. The property is approximately 0.7 acres, give or take. And as the council president noted, it is currently split zoned. So the county parcel viewer used to be color-coded. I have no idea why, but this year they have switched to this incredibly difficult to view in my point with these red lines and then different notations. And you'll see with the next one why that can be so hard to decipher sometimes. But this is all R2 here. And then you can see the bifurcation of the zoning where it goes from R2 to here is actually GC. So you look there, and this strip here is zoned general commercial. Our office appeared actually back in the summer of 2021 at the zoning hearing board when the property was owned by the prior owner to propose a commercial use coming into what at the time was a building in some, I think, significant degree of disrepair. And the zoning hearing board 2.5 years ago, give or take, turned down that application with one of the primary concerns being things like truck traffic and a general sentiment. I don't want to discuss everybody's sentiments, but a general sentiment that this particular area isn't really fit for commercial because of the residential community that exists on Herringbone and Cambria. And in fact, at that meeting, there were a number of individuals from the Echo Beach Association that came and again expressed a similar sentiment. The consensus, maybe not uniform, but the consensus was the general preference was residential. So the owner at that time sold the property. My client purchased the property in November of 2021. And because of the condition of the building, demolished the structure that was there, which has essentially functionally left an unimproved 0.7 acre lot, still with this odd zoning split. We went to the zoning hearing board this year to receive a variance for woodlands disturbance because we were disturbing, I think, 13 trees that form a canopy when you would be allowed to disturb 10 trees that form a canopy. That would allow us, moving forward, to go through a subdivision to have 3 single-family detached houses, which functionally would look identical from a streetscape to the rest of the homes on Cambria and Herringbone. And we were granted the variance at that time by the ZHB, and moving forward, there will be an entire typical process for subdivision, land development, et cetera. But what we're looking to do on the front end is to basically move it so that the zoning boundary would be here, right? And then this would all go R2, which is more in keeping with the rest of the community. And part of there's 2 reasons we're here tonight, one of which I would submit is in a world where there's never a formal development submission, which is forthcoming, but in a theoretical world where that occurred, I think this is more appropriate. I think the majority of the members of the community agree that this should be R2. It's better zoned R2 than to have this as GC. And rezoning this now eliminates GC or commercial development proposal on this corner in the future. It also clears up zoning, you eliminate, you move the zoning boundary. Secondly, more selfishly, my client has some tax reason, a 1031 exchange, I think now, where we're looking to get the zoning done first, but again, the entire rest of the process, I made an overture to, I think there were 2 members of the Planning Commission, maybe 3 members of the Zoning Hearing Board who were out, gave them my contact information and volunteered to go through and keep them in the loop with the process as we go through the land development with all of the approvals like we normally would. But all we're here for tonight simply is to eliminate this odd zoning situation, just to make this parcel all R2 instead of split R2 and GC. It will be better, period, irrespective, in my opinion, of any future development. And with that, I would like to note that Jimmy Wade is here as well. Mr. Wade appeared at the Zoning Hearing Board as a representative on behalf of the Echo Beach Association. Certainly he can get up and speak for himself, but my understanding is the association, back when the zoning was about to be submitted, had a meeting There were a number, maybe something like 18 members that were there that authorized a representative from the association to come to the zoning hearing board to voice support from the Echo Beach community of this, generally speaking. So with that, happy to answer any questions, but otherwise, again, there's not a development proposal that is pending. You obviously have the zoning plan that was put together by Van Cleef Engineering, and a far more detailed version of this, hopefully, will be in front of you for consideration, let's say sometime early next summer, perhaps.
I have a question. You had just stated this 7 acres, yet when I read the letter from the
0.7.
TPD. Okay, now I got you. All right.
0.7.
I couldn't follow you on that.
Yes.
I was looking at the sketches, and it's, as you had said, very difficult to follow, but
The 3 lots range between approximately 7,800 to 8,700 square feet. I would note, because these things always matter, even though this isn't the zoning hearing board, we tend to try to not propose undersized subdivisions at the zoning hearing board, and this is not an undersized subdivision. So we didn't need any relief for things like lot size, lot area. It's all fully compliant and totally in character and keeping with the R2 district there.
it's the only question I have, my misunderstanding of it.
Thank you.
Any other questions, ladies and gentlemen?
I'm glad to thank Mr. Wade for coming out, and I did hear that the association was, for this, okay? And they did, my understanding is they did not want a commercial property on that corner, a larger commercial property, or, because it was a printing shop at one time and something else before that. But so this would be 3 residential houses that would fit whoever lives there would probably join the association, I would think. You know?
The lot width, if you take a look at the lot width compared to basically every home on Herringbone and almost all the homes on Cambria, it's identical. So if you drive down Cambria or Herringbone and you were to see a world 18 months from now where there's 3 houses there, again, from a streetscape standpoint, it would look the same. It would look like it was designed that way from the beginning when this was plotted.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
And the last comment I will make, because I said this at the Planning Commission and to 2 of the individuals who are here, we're going to endeavor, obviously, I think it's a feature, not a bug, to keep as many trees as possible. We would like to do that. We're going to do that, and we will communicate during that process, and happy to inform people of landscape plans. But everything that we can keep here that would facilitate this development, I'll make the representation tonight that we're going to try to do that, of course.
We appreciate your concern on that. It's important to us on the council, that, especially with the stormwater management, being that close to the Delaware River also, and so that's very important to us, and we appreciate your client's presentation on that part. I'm going to ask at this time, is there anyone like to come forward and make a presentation or for or against this rezoning? You're welcome to come up at this time.
My name is Jim Wade. I am one of the members of the Echo Beach Association. And yes, we do support them putting in homes rather than the business there. We've spoke about it in our group meetings, and I can tell you from the people that did show up at the meetings, they are all for the putting in the homes.
Okay, well, thank you so much, and as he had stated earlier, thank you. Is there anyone else like to come forward? Please do come up. We need your name and address.
My name is Jeffrey Ziv. I live at 331 Herringbone Lane, the 3rd lot on Herringbone. Our home is directly opposed to the Union Fire Company. So we have the Union Fire Company, which is 80% macadam and hard surfaces. We have the canopy of trees, which is a small lot, and then my backyard, which has a storm sewer in it already that receives a lot of water. We're very close to the Delaware with a higher water table. And I have concerns about how much water is going to be coming our way. We're downhill from this development. And with all that macadam on State Road and the Union Fire Company, I had a concern about putting 3 houses in this space and rather than 2 houses. So that's my comment, that I hope the township will make sure that we're not going to get flooded.
Well, if it comes before us and the land development is such that it would be 3 homes, I can assure you that the main concern from all of us will be stormwater management. And I can also assure you that what is there today will be approved upon in terms of stormwater management, so you would benefit from that becoming homes. And in addition to the stormwater management, I think it would also benefit by it becoming residential as opposed to a light industrial, which I think, is it light industrial or is it
General commercial.
General commercial, which is even worse. I mean, it could be anything. So I think
That could be a parking
in the
lot.
long run, I think you should be in favor of it. And I guarantee you, when they come before us, you will be notified of that, and you'll make your presentation to us at that time, and we will definitely be on your side when it comes to that.
Okay, I appreciate that.
Okay.
Yeah, although I will note that, as the gentleman said, the lot widths are similar, the lot depths are not. I mean, there's only about 25 feet from what's going to be the back of these homes to the property line and the storm sewer that's already in my backyard. So I have some concerns there, and I just wanted to put it on the record.
Okay?
Okay?
Okay.
Yeah.
And again, and we appreciate that, but again, at this venture, we are only adjudicating on the change of the zoning. All that other additional things will be something that we'll have to attend to at a later time.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for coming forward. Does anyone else like to come forward? Not seeing anyone come forward, I'm going to close that public portion. Ladies and gentlemen, I ask for a motion to be put on the floor.
Make the motion to approve the consideration of rezoning for Luber 74 LLC located at 2025 State Road from GC-R2 General Commercial and Residential classification to the R2 Residential only, tax parcel 02-064-058.
All right, so we have a motion on the floor.
I'll second the motion.
I do have a second on the motion. Is there any additional discussion? Not hearing any. All those in favor signify with an aye.
Aye.
Aye. That's unanimous, 4-0. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Moving on to agenda item number 6, which is a consideration of rezoning also, and this is for J&J Properties LLC, and the address is 4435 Bristol Road. This is a light industrial property, and this is going to be changed to a general commercial property. Tax map parcel is 02-017-046-001. So this is from light industrial to general commercial. Okay.
Hey, good evening, Mike McGinnis again from Begley Carlin, here on behalf of the property owner. And I threw up on the screen with this application a Google Street View in case anyone is not familiar with the subject property, which is located at 4432 Bristol. The tax parcel number is 2-17-46-001. It's a strip shopping center where the spot is. It seems to be the area that most people are familiar with in the township. The property is 1.14 acres, and I am going to now toggle back here to the zoning aerial. This is my point about sort of the insanity of how this has been done by the county in terms of how they're color coding things now. So this is the property, and if you look at this, because of this little gap here, this property is zoned light industrial as well as this strip, but a lot of this is GC, GC. This whole thing here is GC, 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 all the way down, and then you get to the municipality, the municipal border there. But many of the surrounding properties are zoned general commercial, and this property has, for a very, very long time, been used in a general commercial manner, not in a light industrial manner. In fact, when my client purchased the property, Mr. Ott is here with me, back in the summer of 2018, there was some correspondence at the time with the township where the statement back was that the property was general commercial, which we have documentation of, because everybody, I think, even inside the township, it seemed like the prevailing sentiment was that the property was zoned general commercial, probably because of a mix-up of the surrounding zoning designations and the existing use on this site. So my client purchased the property, and then after that, in the winter of beginning of 2019, was informed that the prior statement was wrong, that it's actually zoned light industrial. So without overly complicating things, you could probably guess the issue with this is every time there is a potential vacancy in the strip center, there's a question about how do we address the zoning, because it's zoned light industrial, but it's a non-conforming use. Is the non-conforming use the shopping center being the non-conformity, so anything of a general commercial character can go in there by right, or does every single time my client tries to fill a vacancy within the strip center, we have to go to the zoning hearing board for a use variance because it's technically zoned light industrial? I think the neighboring property has an industrial use, but it's zoned commercial, so it's flipped from what you would think. And I don't know why it was done this way, if it was done purposefully, accidentally, and really for our purposes this evening, I don't think that's really that pertinent, only to say that there is no development proposed, there's not any development that's going to come here, my client is not intending to sell the property, we're just trying to eliminate me giving Mr. Farrell an aneurysm every time I contact him about this moving forward, if that can be avoided. So all we're doing is trying to have this zoned the way I think it should be zoned, the way the use has always been, and the way the use is going to be going forward with no site improvement. So I'm viewing it as a housekeeping item. Mr. Ott is here to affirm any of that if council would like to hear it directly from him. Otherwise, we appreciate that.
Is there any questions from the council on this? It seems fairly simple.
No, I thought it was a housekeeping
Okay,
item.
you got a question?
No, I thought that was going to be my question. This is just housekeeping.
My question, I only have, and I'm fine with this too, but I had a question. I'm not an attorney, so I want to ask you. But anyway, I read somewhere in here, when I was reading this, and I think it was from the Bucks County Planning Commission, that this was unnecessary because it's approved already, because there's subdivisions of the zoning, and they made some comment that they felt it was unnecessary to do this because it was already allowed, what you're already doing. But I guess there's a reason why you're doing it, right? Or you wouldn't be doing it.
Yeah, I'm looking at the Bucks County Planning Commission's review letter. So I guess what they're saying is because of the way that the township implements this sort of cascading waterfall in their ordinance, where the light industrial district cross-references the HC1 district, and the HC1 district cross-references the GC district, and because of that, is there an argument that the GC district uses are therefore implemented under the light industrial generally? I can tell you this, that in my dealings on this site, that's not the way the township has interpreted that historically, but I'm never going to argue against a more favorable zoning interpretation. I do think going forward, there's no use that's going to be industrial here, so I think it's cleaner. It's cleaner. It's just more appropriate. And if someone at the township changes their position on that, I don't want to have to go.
I just couldn't think. I read it the same way, but I was trying to figure out their point. I really. Yeah.
I think you're doing everyone a favor by doing this.
Okay.
Okay, any other comments? If I have no other comments, I ask for anyone like to come forward from the public to come comment on this rezoning. And not seeing anyone come forward, I'm going to ask for a motion to be put on the floor.
I'll make a motion to approve item 6, consideration of rezoning for J&J Properties LLC located at 4435 Bristol Road from zoning classification LI Light Industrial to zoning classification GC General Commercial for tax parcel 02-017-046-001.
Is that not 4432? Is the agenda wrong and the paperwork's right
I have 4435.
on the agenda? But I think the paperwork
When I
says
was looking it
32.
up.
Yeah, it's 44, the mailing, I mean, we go by parcel numbers, but the mailing address we have is 4432.
Okay,
Yeah.
just want to be sure we
Yeah.
noted it right.
4432, I'd like to amend that to the location of 4432 Bristol Road at such tax parcel.
Okay, we had some question on that a little bit earlier, but we're glad you brought that up, so we have
Okay.
that straightened out. Okay, we have a motion on the floor, a second on the motion.
I'll second the motion.
I'm sorry, I thought you seconded that. Okay, Joe, okay,
I just had a
got it.
question.
All right, we have a, no. All those in favor signify with an aye. Aye. That'll make it difficult. All right, thank
All
you.
right.
That's unanimous.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. McGinnis.
Have a good
Always our
evening.
pleasure.
Thank you.
All right, here we go. Moving on to agenda item number 7, consideration of a resolution of a township, Bensalem, pertaining to destruction of old records. At least you didn't say old councilman anyway, that's good. Old records for the Building and Planning Department.
Yes, as is required by Commonwealth law, in order for the township to destroy records after a sufficient time has passed, it requires a resolution of council in order to do so. That resolution is before you this evening. The records at question would be records from the Building and Planning Department from January of 2022 to present. It should be noted that all of the documents are scanned into the township's computer system as a matter of course, so electronic copies of everything that's being asked to be destroyed are part of the township's filing system.
Thank you. This is a regular procedure, and so I want to ask for a motion to be put on the floor on this.
I'll make a motion that we approve the resolution as presented.
All right, we have a motion.
Second.
We do have a second. Any additional discussion? All those in favor signify with an aye.
Aye.
Aye. We have 4-0. On to agenda item number 8. This is a consideration of escrow releases. We have several, A through E. And so we're going to take them individually. And Quentin, okay, you're up here. Wonderful. Boy, thank you. And on that also individually.
Good evening, Council and Mayor. So first escrow release we have on for tonight's meeting is the Sperduto Land Development, escrow release number 5. We are recommending release of $11,030.40 with the $5,000 remaining in escrow for some finalization of some outstanding issues.
Any questions on this release? Not hearing any. All those in favor? Let's put a motion on the floor.
I'll put a motion on the floor for escrow release number 5 for Sperduto 901 Tennis Avenue.
All right, we have a motion.
Second.
Second, all those in favor signify with an aye. Aye. And against? Any abstentions? Unanimous. On to 8B, developer's request for Presto Tape.
This is escrow release number 3 for Presto Tape at Bridgewater Road. This is the remaining final escrow release of $3,500 to close the project. The issues we had previously that we held money on have been checked, and no further action is needed.
Okay. Any questions? I'll ask for a motion to be put on the floor.
I'll put a motion on the floor for escrow release number 3, Presto Tape, 1626 Bridgewater Road, 1766 Winchester Road.
To be approved.
To be approved. Thank you.
Okay, and that's with the approval of the, what's that, the
Finance.
financial department?
Finance Department.
Right, okay,
Thank
we
you.
have a motion.
I'll second.
I have a second. Michelle
Got
has
it,
it.
Michelle? Thank you.
All those in favor signify with an aye.
Aye.
And against the abstentions,
Getting tired of it.
unanimous. Getting old in that, getting slow in the old age there,
No,
Joseph.
that's all right.
All right, agenda item number, or just courteous, what do you got?
That's right. I'm a gentleman.
We have C, developer's request for this location, and this is for 2500 State Road Holdings. Release number 1.
Yes, release number 1, we're recommending release of $140,749.87 with a balance of $259,912.83 remaining.
Okay. Would anyone like to come forward on this one? Not seeing anyone come forward. Do you have any questions? Council members? I ask for a motion to be put on the floor.
I'll make a motion that we approve 2500 State Road Holdings LLC as recommended, $140,749.87 to be reviewed by the finance department, sorry.
Okay, that's a motion on the floor.
I'll second it.
We have a second on the motion. All those in favor signify with an eye.
Aye.
And against, the abstentions, unanimous. D,
This is escrow release number 4 for Living Room Foundation at 4833 Humeville Road. This is a recommended release and final release of $58,980.44. All outstanding punch list items have been completed this year, and we're recommending closure of the project.
Okay, so it would go to 0, okay. I'll make a motion that we approve Living Green Foundation for a release of $58,980.44, bringing the remaining to 0, as recommended and audited by our finance department.
Second.
all right, we have a motion second. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
And against, abstentions, unanimous. 8E,
This is escrow release number 11 for the Samarpan Hindu Temple at 2746 McCantrell Road. We're recommending release of $212,988.80, leaving $10,000 in escrow for the remaining of the project. Only escrow that we are going through right now is they have to get a closeout with the MPDES, so we kept a little bit of money in escrow just in case any outstanding issues are brought up from the county conservation district.
all right, so there's a balance of 10,000, is that correct?
Correct.
All right, there it is, ladies and gentlemen. I ask for a motion to be put on the floor.
Motion to approve Sarmapan Hindu Temple, release number 11, 2746 Mechanicsville Road, in the amount of $212,988.80.
All right, so we have a motion on the floor as presented.
Second.
We have a second, and that's and what's that? And with the approval of the accounting department.
Yes, with the
Okay.
approval of our finance
Finance.
department. Thank you.
Well, I said accounting and finance, okay. All right, we have a motion, we have a second. All those in favor? Aye. Any against? Any abstentions? Unanimous? Okay, that takes care of that. Got you busy there. Quentin? Nosey? Joseph? We need your signature, please. Okay, we're going to move on to, as Mr. Knowles is signing those, recording that, we're going to move on to agenda item number 9, which is public comment. Would anyone like to come forward and make any comments? Please give us your name and your address.
I think everybody knows who I am. Alan Windsor, 3232 Azalea Avenue. At the beginning of this year, I excused myself from being on the environmental board. I just want to make sure the administration knows it because I don't know how much Mr. Belfield talks to you about it. But I'm no longer a member, consider myself a member of that board. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Sorry to lose you on there, that's for sure.
Thanks for your service.
Okay. Anyone else like to come forward? All right, not seeing anyone come forward, we're going to move on to the agenda item number 10, which is other business, and that would be from supporting personnel as well as council. Phil, would you like to make any comments this evening?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you. Township Clerk, Debbie McBreen, nothing at all? All right, thank you. Moving to the extreme right, we have our solicitor, Joe Pizzo.
Nothing this evening, thank you.
Okay.
Yes, I was going
Right.
to say, I guess Thanksgiving before our next meeting, so happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Exactly. Yeah, thanks, Al. See, that's why you should be on the committee. The Honorable Mayor Joseph DiGirolamo. Joe?
Yeah, just thank everyone for coming out tonight, our services here, fire, police, and a very, very, very happy Thanksgiving to everyone. Don't
All
eat
right.
too much turkey.
All right, and then we'll go to our council members. Michelle, would you like to go first? All right, not?
I'll just say happy Thanksgiving and thank you, everybody, for turning up tonight. in support of the fire department. We're looking forward to working with you all.
Okay. Oh, these have to be signed, okay. And we'll go to, Mr. Knowles, you said?
Yes. Yeah, I would like to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy the time with your family and friends. And, gratitude should be the best part of it, and we should be grateful for the community we live in. I do like to thank all the people for coming out tonight, and our firefighters in general who volunteer, and also our paid firemen during the day to provide that service to our community. And we understand, at least I understand, that there's a lot of passion, especially with long-term people who have dedicated their lives to volunteer fire companies. And when we're changing, when we're studying changes and changes that may have to occur, we've been studying this. We've been talking to people about this. We've been going over it, and we're going to continue to do we're doing a very thorough job before any decisions are made. And the first one will probably be to hire an actual fire chief. But we're working hard towards getting this right, and it may get messy at times, but at the end, we're going to get this right. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Stacy, champion?
So happy Thanksgiving to everybody. As Mr. Knowles said, we should all be grateful for what we have. Many don't have the freedoms and such as we have here in the U.S., and I appreciate that, and thank you to all of our public safety, both volunteer and paid. Without them, our town would not be as good a shape as it's in. I do want to say one thing, and I meant to mention it to the mayor earlier. Thank you for the work that you're doing over at the golf course on the stream. Not many people know about the work that's going on over there, and I got to get a view of it. And Mr. Worsta, thank you to your group that's working very diligently, because that really does help all of the water behind it as it tries to make its way through the Pequesing. So I really was very impressed with everything that is going on over there and how it really will help our residents and do a lot of stormwater management. It's a beginning. We know we have a lot to do, but it is a beginning, and it's great to see the efforts. And I learned a lot about different trees and the types of trees we need for stormwater management, and I appreciate that. And to the Public Works Department who put the rain garden in. I think people should try and maybe go out and see that. That was where I was leading to. It was both I went to the conservation districts thing we had here at the amphitheater a few weeks ago. And it was a great knowledge-based thing to have. We know as a town with creeks going through it that trying to do stormwater management in any way we can is important, even as a personal resident. And I know I'm looking at ways on my own property now after having gone, as I'm downstream. I'm 40 feet below Bensalem Boulevard. So I need to do something as all the water comes down towards my house. So thank you, everybody. And thank you, the mayor and administration and Public Works and Mr. Worsta.
And I'd like to add just what everyone had said, happy Thanksgiving to everyone in Bensalem. Please keep in your prayers the situation in the Middle East. I'll just comment on that. And may God bless all the residents of Bensalem, especially on giving the Thanksgiving for everything the Lord has given us. That's it.